Look, I've had some people asking me, have I heard anything from Jeremy, my ex-32nd Freemason source? Several people have been asking me, has he had anything to say about this? Well, actually, I got some emails from Jeremy over the weekend, several of the emails. I'm actually going to take a little bit of time to just read some of what he wrote in some of the emails to me. I will, like I say, it'll take a little while to read, but I think the information in them is important. So I might launch into reading that now before we carry on this discussion. This is Jeremy, the ex-32nd degree Freemason, his emails. So he starts off here and he said, I met with my source. Now, I won't go into his source's details, but he's high level, okay. I'll just say that much. I met with my source and I was told last week, which is why I emailed you last week, that something was coming, one event. Right, so Jeremy had emailed me before this riots thing happened and said something's going to happen, okay? And then he said, well, it will bring in a second one. His source, Jeremy's source, said that men were all planted in with those protesters to get them to violence. Now we all know this well, agitators, but he says, that's his source, says they are police department undercover officers. But he said this is the first event that will start the ethnic killing I told you about, and I do believe it. It already has started the process, so the event. His words, he said, it don't take much now, it don't take much to get the subhumans riled up, which is pretty horrible, but that's what the source, remember this is people from the southern states, and they will be the cause of the system really stepping up as everyone is going to want protection from them. This is why it's time to be in and not out. Curfews will commence, and that takes more liberties away from the normal folks. Those are his source's words. Then these people planted will do more damage and more violence, and property damage will move into residential areas. That's his source's words. And then one step closer to the real agenda will come closer to the goal. This flu, meaning the pandemic, took so much and still is from everyone on earth, so many freedoms, and they never knew that they never knew they had and took advantage of. And now these riots will start and take the next step. Watch and see it won't happen everywhere of this caliber. Now, of course, it won't be black folks being killed in other countries, but something related to cause major riots everywhere that will bring in this same steps. Those are his source's words. The whole world will follow our lead. The ones writing the play, he always says, the ones writing the script will follow the lead in US and bring about their own violence to bring in more oppressive rules to take away more rights until there are no rights left. Even down to the local police in these cities are involved. I'd never heard that before, says Jeremy. I always knew agitators were involved in these riots, like when Trump won, but I never thought police. But I can see it now clearly. He said, meaning the source, the protesters always need one last push to bring out the animal in them, and when it's out, it's out. And that is what they've been trying to do for a long time. But he said it always dies down. But he did tell me this time, this is his high-level source, told him, this time it will not. Another event will happen, in his words, to bring them back out when the Floyd thing isn't enough anymore. So something else is coming. And last week, one of the men I've always known, also whom I met with the most, said to me what I told you to begin, to watch for some event that will trigger the next step in this agenda. And I wondered when I saw Floyd die if that was it, but I didn't know for sure. And then Sunday, my big source told me, when you watch it and know it's orchestrated, it isn't as good as real violence. And that was Floyd dying. So that he was basically told that the day before, because I think it happened on a Monday. So he was told on a Sunday. And he was telling me they all knew it was going to happen. So what he is saying is they planned it, and that cop who killed knew he was going to do it. And when you watch that video, you see it. They didn't even try CPR or anything, Tony. They loaded him up and did nothing. When have you ever seen anything like that in your life? I mean, ever. I do think the man died. I think they paid that cop's family a ton of money, and he was in the Mystery Babylon religion and wanted to do it maybe. There is so much more of this we don't know, but it was planned and all on camera, every minute of it. And this came from it. They knew this would happen, as it was wrong. When anyone watches that, it's disturbing, but knowing it was planned, it is still disturbing, but even worse. They will wipe out millions, I know it, and have heard it my entire adult life. It's coming closer every day. And he says, he's talking about his source again, this killing or genocide is closer than any point in history, and we are ready and prepared to start it now. Those were his words, his source's words. We are in a scary time, this is back to Jeremy, and things have changed nothing like what's coming in this second event. This will bring in this big second one. And he told me this is nothing. These aren't riots, he said. The real riots will bring it in. Something will cause these riots to grow to an extreme. Watch for it any day. And then in another email, he said, because he'd forgotten to tell me, he says, but talking about his family, because his family took off to, he believes, the underground base in Denver. But they've lied to him about it because, of course, he's not a Freemason anymore, so he's not invited to there. But his mother and stepfather have been there. So he said this, my family, get this, I forgot to mention, sorry, they all came home the same time, every single one of them. My mother and stepdad claim to have bought a condo there, that's in Denver, and want to go back a couple of months a year. Or in Colorado somewhere, I'm not sure exactly, she's saying it's Denver, and want to go back to this place in July, because they actually live in the southern states, miles from Colorado, but they've gone there, his family, or went there to escape the pandemic. Anyway, he says, I confronted her and told her, I know where you went. Do you think I'm that dumb? And she said, then you know I have to go. If you truly know, he says, I kid you not. I believe she wants to be safe in defense of what's coming. And she said to me, make sure to stay at the plantation this summer. I said, I can put two and two together. Makes me mad what they are doing, he says. And this time my father, who's not married to his mother anymore, but his father as well is leaving. And I don't think he's going where he's telling me he's going either. And then Jeremy finishes with, I can trust no one here, Tony, no one. I cannot believe a word anyone says anymore. Just about 95% of the people I've known, and no, I cannot trust a word they say. But at least I can trust Jesus Christ, and that's all that matters nowadays. So there was more, but I've just basically taken and edited the bits that I thought I'd read online, so that's the end of that. But it's pretty sobering, Joni.